What if the most terrifying monster isn't hiding in the shadows but lurking in our collective imagination? Picture a quiet, rural New England town. Kids playing near abandoned mines, laughter echoing off the hills. Suddenly, a sharp discovery: a crumbling tomb, bones oddly arranged. That chilling moment would become the spark for one of America's strangest outbreaks of fear. The New England vampire panic. We're not talking Hollywood vampires, no velvet capes or gothic castles. These vampires were the stuff of urgent whispers, fever dreams, and real-life dread, a mass hysteria, so powerful that whole communities dug up their dead, desperate for salvation. Tonight, we'll journey deep into the past, where myth and truth blur, and explore what made otherwise rational people believe the impossible. Before we start, if you love stories where the line between legend and reality disappears, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an untold tale. To understand the vampire panic, we need to step into a world before antibiotics, when a single cough could doom a family. In the late 1700s and 1800s, tuberculosis, then as consumption, ravaged New England's villages. It was merciless. One family member would fall ill, then another, as if some hidden force was feeding on the living. But here's the thing: science, as we know it, wasn't there to explain what was happening. Germ theory was decades away, so when tragedy struck again and again, people reached for explanations. The conclusion: the dead were draining life from the living, a belief not born from ancient books, but from the raw terror of watching loved ones waste away. And let's be honest, even today, when we don't have answers, fear breeds stories. The unknown demands explanation, and sometimes the truth isn't as important as finding comfort or control. When tuberculosis struck, New Englanders turned to folk rituals with roots in Old World Europe, but reinvented on American soil. At night, friends and family would gather in silence around a grave. Sometimes, local doctors even led the way, driven by their own helplessness. Coffins were opened, corpses examined for signs of vampirism: a too fresh body, blood at the lips, a heart that hadn't decayed. And then came the brutal cure. If a heart looked suspiciously intact, it was cut out and burned on a flat stone. The ashes were sometimes mixed in a potion and fed to the only last hope to break the curse. Gruesome, yes, but to those living in terror, it was an act of love, a desperate attempt to save family from a fate that seemed both supernatural and all too real. It's easy to dismiss these acts as superstitious violence, but when you're watching your children die and science offers no hope, any answer, even a terrible one, can seem like mercy. This is how mass hysteria works. It takes root when knowledge fails and grows in the fertile soil of grief and helplessness. Years later, when archaeologists uncovered a Connecticut grave marked GB55, they found the skeleton of a farmer, bones deliberately rearranged in a pattern meant to stop a vampire. Forensic analysis revealed he died of tuberculosis, not evil intent. But JB55's story isn't unique. He became a symbol of how fear can twist memory and turn the innocent into monsters. In sight, every grave like JB55's is a physical echo of a message left for us by people who, in their own way, were trying to protect their world. Perhaps the most famous vampire was Mercy Brown of Exeter, Rhode Island. Her family was devastated by tuberculosis. First her mother, then her sister, and finally Mercy herself. When her brother Edwin fell ill, neighbors insisted the cause was supernatural. On a cold March morning, they exhumed Mercy's body, found her heart fresh due to the frozen ground, and burned it. Edwin drank a potion made from the ashes. It didn't save him. Personal analysis. The Mercy Brown case became national news not because it was so rare, but because it happened at the dawn of the modern age, with doctors and journalists looking on. What's most haunting isn't the ritual itself, but the deep human need it reveals, a refusal to surrender loved ones without a fight, even when hope is gone. Mercy Brown's story wasn't isolated. Across New England, vampire exhumations multiplied. Some towns flipped corpses face down, others burned hearts. A few reburied bones in strange arrangements. These weren't acts of cruelty, but of hope, and their memory endures in old cemeteries, reinforced gravestones, and the legends whispered by locals even today. Relatable example. Think about the urban legends in your hometown house everyone says is haunted. Or that cursed road nobody drives after dark. We invent these stories to explain what we can't accept. The difference here, the fear was so real. It left scars on the landscape and on families that still linger. Eventually, the vampire panic faded not through heroics, but through discovery. Scientists like Robert Koch identified the tuberculosis bacterium, and slowly, reason replaced ritual. Modern medicine brought hope where once there was only terror. But the scars of the panic, the graves, the stories, the whispered warnings rend new insights. Here's the lesson. Every society, no matter how advanced, is vulnerable to panic when the unknown strikes. Even now, as new diseases emerge, or social media fans the flames of rumor, we see echoes of New England's fear. The details change, the impulse doesn't. Mercy Brown's grave is now a place of pilgrimage. People leave plastic vampire teeth, cough drops, even apology notes. Writers like Bram Stoker drew on these tales for Dracula. But the true monster wasn't hiding in the grave. It was fear, thriving in the space where answers were few. Personal reflection. When we face the unknown, whether it's illness, loss, or the mysteries of life and death, there's a thin line between reason and superstition. The vampire panic is a warning. Unchecked fear can make us do the unimaginable. But it's also a lesson in compassion. Those who dug up graves weren't villains. They were desperate, grieving, and trying to make sense of suffering. So next time you walk past an old cemetery, or hear a story that sounds too strange to be true, remember Mercy Brown, GB55, and all those whose only crime was dying at the wrong time. Their legacy is a challenge to us. Will we meet our fears with curiosity and care, or with panic and blame? Let's choose knowledge, empathy, and a willingness to listen to history, to science, and to one another. That's the real way to lay our ghosts to rest. If you found this story thought-provoking, subscribe for more untold legends. Leave a comment with your thoughts or family stories, and share this video. Thank you for watching Tales Mythology, where every myth has a truth behind it.